I read Foolish Times.
I read Foolish Times in the office.
I read Foolish Times in Atlanta.
I read Junior Jokes and Foolish Times with my mom.
I read Foolish Times when I should be working.
I read Foolish Times in hablo español.
I read Foolish Times.
Are you reading Foolish Times? Pick up a copy throughout Monterey County and select locations in Santa Cruz. Laugh it up.
Okay.
Here you go, dude.
Are you ready?
This is us, yeah. We're on.
Okay, set.
Go. Good
Cheers.
to see you, Jay.
Good to see you
Cheers.
too, Stevie P. All right, this is our first
sip.
Here's to our first episode of the Foolish Times podcast.
Yay, us.
Yay.
A nice summer day here in Monterey on the wharf.
It is nice, isn't it?
I'm freezing.
Are you?
I'm so cold.
Well, you know, we're going to edit it, so it's going to look blue skies.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Well, I shaved my head. Underneath this beanie, I shaved my head. And that's why I wear this, because if I took it off, I'd be really cold.
I accidentally got a haircut today.
Oh,
and
Jay.
I'm wearing this thing, so I have no hat. So it's like, I got problems. All right. So, hey, this is our first show, and we have two wonderful guests today. And our show is going to be done every 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Everything you see in the Foolish Times, we're going to do our best to talk about it here. And who are the two guests that we got coming here?
Well, obviously, we had to bring Kevin Phillips on, who owns the joint.
Who?
Kevin Phillips.
Kevin Phillips.
Kevin Phillips. Nice
Kevin
guy.
Phillips.
Yeah, Mr.
He's
Kevin
been around
Phillips.
for a while. He's a good guy.
He's been around. A great guy. Local guy. Owns a bunch of restaurants. He owns Whaling Station, obviously Ablanetti's. He's got Rockfish out here at the end of the wharf. And he's got the beach house in Pacific Grove.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to find out about him are these local specials that they got going on for everybody that's here local. So I'm very keen to understand what's going on.
That's why we come here.
That's good. They have a local special here.
They're 7 days a week.
I like it.
Every day.
Every day.
Every
Not
day.
once or twice, just every day.
And Jay, even we could afford that.
It's like $12, isn't it?
You know what though? Yeah, I answer this question. You bring a date to a place like this, and she looks at the menu. You're trying to impress her and say, "No, we don't need the regular menu. We're locals.
That's it.
Give us a local menu." And does she think you're cheap or frugal, or what does she think?
Smart.
You're kidding
Penny
yourself.
wise.
Yeah.
Penny wise. Okay. Now,
Jay, we're just trying to mention that you're single. So we're trying to get we're trying to enhance your life here, Jay.
appreciate that. Thank you
No
so much.
problem.
Where's the camera? Who do I look at? Where do I look? Where do I look? Oh, there. Hey, how you doing? Let me wink. Okay. All right. Now back to this. Speaking of improvisation,
Yes.
which we just did,
Maria
we have
Dawson.
Maria Dawson coming
Maria
in.
Dawson.
And she's got a show coming up in July 22nd.
Yes.
And she is an improv dynamo.
Coach.
Coaches twice a month or a week, I guess, over at PG Art Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll find out more about what she's got going on.
And her show will be at the Stanton here in Custom House Plaza.
Oh, yeah, it's a great place.
Beautiful 100-seat theater. And somebody wants me, and they can't have me.
There's a caller calling in already. We didn't even ask for callers. Look at that.
Let's find out who this is. Hello.
I'll take one over.
Or Roman. Good.
Just get rid of this.
So we've been here for a while, as you can see. And
Thanks a lot.
but who we have here is Mr. Kevin Phillips. He is the owner here at Ablanetti's. He owns a couple other restaurants that we're going to let him introduce to you. And again, we want to thank you for letting us do this out here on your deck.
What's your favorite table?
It's my favorite table, and you're definitely taking a risk.
That's right. That's what we do.
That's it. So you've been here for how long?
Been on the wharf since 1996. Came down with John Pisco when he had Ablanetti, Bar and Grill, and Domenico's across the street.
So you were in junior high school?
Yeah, it does seem like a lifetime ago.
But you're a local guy then?
I'm a local guy. Went to Pacific Grove High School, graduated class of 77.
Whoa!
In fact, the head bartender at one of our restaurants was in my high school class.
So now she works for you.
She's the head bartender.
Fantastic. So the Beach House, that is the restaurant in PG. Lovers Point.
Beautiful.
Historic location.
Yeah. Upstairs.
Dinner only, starting at 4:30, and we have our Lovers Point Beach Cafe downstairs, open from 9 to 5.
Now, I've been there for your early bird specials. I feel young when I go there. What are the lines like now?
It's been very popular. We're going to be open 10 years next month, and right from opening, we were very, very busy because we have this menu we call the Sunset Menu. It's an early menu from 4 to 5:30 every day, and it was wildly popular. So much so that we actually had to change the whole program last year because there was too much pressure on the kitchen staff. You can imagine we open at 4, and within 15 minutes you get a whole rail full of tickets because everybody comes in and orders what they want.
I was one of those.
Yeah. So now it's a locals menu.
Quite a rush.
It's available anytime that we're open.
Oh, fantastic!
No longer
Did
a
not
time
know
requirement,
that.
but we no longer promote it to the hotels or to the tourist trade. It's really intended for locals. So we've seen a drop off in that. Plus, then we moved the opening time to 4:30 instead of 4 o'clock to take the pressure off that early portion.
So we come out here a lot. We really like your restaurant, and you got a great staff. The food's good. Again, what you do out here is fabulous for us locals. And we always say, well, we live here, and there's no questions asked. Again, they got to know us. So that's how you operate?
Yeah, all you have to do is ask for a locals menu. No one asks you for a driver's license to prove you're a local. You just have to know them.
Okay. So you have the Beach House at Lover's Point. You have Ablanetti's, where we are right now, and Rockfish, which was, look, the old Rappas. And then you have the Jewel, called the Whaling Station. So can I get a local special there?
Yeah, well, we have there called the bar menu, and it's a menu that you're only provided if you ask for it. The bar menu was created by the former owner and I when we reopened after renovations in 1997. It had 2 items, blackened salmon and a steak sandwich. And on the plate you also get a wedge of iceberg with a real Roquefort dressing and a big pile of French fries. And those were the 2 items. There's now over 20 items on that menu, including sandabs, which we have best French dip in the world.
Fantastic.
Guaranteed. Little medallions of filet mignon. A lot of great things.
And Jay, you used to work for him.
I used to work for him. He's a great boss. He's a great boss.
Are you saying that just in case, the insurance business tanks?
Never burn your bridges.
Never burn my bridges.
Jay was also very personal, always a very personable guy, always a great salesman.
Fantastic. And which restaurants did you work in?
I had his first one, 96, at Domenico's right here. Not to date us. But yeah, Domenico's on the wharf. It was beautiful. Bananas Foster. You still serving Bananas Foster over there?
I'm no longer connected with Domenico's, but I actually don't know.
What about your restaurants?
No, we do tableside Caesar salads at the waiting station, but no Bananas Foster.
Caesar salad.
No flatbread.
That's fantastic. So we just went through a really wet winter. So how was it out here, besides wet?
You know, I've been down here 27 years, but there's a lot of guys down here been a lot longer than me, and no one's ever seen a winter like this one was. Every year we count on, from Thanksgiving to Easter, we count on the weekends, and almost all of them were rained out. All through December, all of Christmas week, not only rain, but power failures. We average about what they call an atmospheric river, which is a long line of precipitation from Hawaii to the West Coast. We averaged one a year. We had, I think, 18 of them this year. It just seemed to never end, with trees down. The weather was so bad that sometimes I didn't open the restaurants. The 3 different days in December, we didn't open at all because it was really too dangerous to come down here with the wind and the rain.
I volunteered for first night and setting up that day, and she said about 6 hours. It was about 10, and I remember standing in Alvarado Street, water up to my ankles, and she goes, "Set up that stage." I'm like, someone's gonna die. These bands are gonna get electrocuted.
New Year's Eve, the Beach House, we had 300 reservations. An hour before we opened, the power went out, and we never could open.
Oh my.
Felt terrible for us, really, because it was heartbreaking.
But they stay with you.
They did.
A lot of loyalty to you and to them.
The biggest test of that really was the pandemic. What we had to do with these restaurants through the pandemic, it's hard to imagine ever mustering the energy to do all that stuff again. Whether it was takeout only or outdoor dining, then takeout only again, then back and forth, masks, no masks, the whole thing. They did a marvelous job through all the people working this.
So that's your staff that did the marvelous job.
The best example probably is the waiting station. We had no place to do outdoor seating. In fact, I did a full application with the city of Monterey to use the parking place in front of the restaurant. I did a formal application. To this day, I don't have a response to that, by the way. But I asked the landlord if we could put a tent, believe it or not, behind the building. and he let us. We put up a 4,500 square foot tent, and the staff recreated the interior of the restaurant, including the artwork, a bar.
It was awesome.
We had live music, and we ended up in there for 9 months.
Wow.
But
And they had live entertainment.
Live
It was
entertainment.
beautiful.
We probably would have had to close the restaurant for maybe a year. But there's an employee that's been there since 1970, a waiter. Another one since 79. The chef's been there almost 40 years.
Wow.
So we kept all that culture and all those people together by using that tent, and then we were able to move back. So
That's fantastic.
the other victim of that was our Rockfish Harbor Grill. So the Rappa family was there 63 years. We took it over in 2014. So we always talked about doing a renovation. Our lease goes to 2041, so we had the time. We started that renovation about 2 months before COVID. So the 8-month program turned into 19 months.
Jeez.
And very long, very difficult, very expensive process. But now it's a beautiful new interior with all redone spaces. So we built a new lounge, smaller bar. We increased the size of the lower level dining, which is right over the water, where everybody wants to sit. So more flexibility with the seating there. So it's turned into something really special.
Plus, you have a roof.
We have a roof with a walkway that about 1 million people a year walk up there to observe the harbor. The restaurant seating, every seat has a view of the harbor.
Because it's
Unobstructed
L-shaped.
view. It occupies the entire end of the pier. So every seat is above the water.
So
Great location.
Summer's coming. This is actually, we are bundled up, so it is summer.
You have all the best locations, by the way.
We're on March 20th. The coldest winter ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
There you go.
And Monterey is very similar. So
Well, and Jay lives in Salinas, but he had to turn around halfway here and get a jacket, because he forgot he was coming to
we saw a
Monterey.
lot of jackets and sweaters on the wharf too.
Very sunny in Salinas this morning.
Yeah, it was nice.
Rub it in.
Microclimates.
I think it's great. This is again, this is a treat for us. I think it's going to be a treat for whoever's watching this, around the world, local people. We've had a really nice response locally. People that saw it and said, "Where can I see this? Where can I watch this?" So it's going to be fun. And we appreciate you doing this. And again, we appreciate you taking a chance with us. We promise to behave because Jay, so we have to. You
I got
can't
a few
fire him
questions.
twice.
We're all about everything local, so we love to support any kind of local endeavor that we can get involved in.
Yes.
And Foolish Times is definitely a local endeavor.
We are local.
Yes.
I got a couple questions for you before you get out of the hot seat. Okay, if you were to have one meal to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I don't want anybody else in our staff to hear it, but it'd probably be with the waiting station and probably the steak sandwich.
Sandwich?
It's as perfect a meal as I can imagine.
Guess where we're going tonight.
USDA prime sirloin steak on a piece of garlic toast with a big pile of French fries and then wedge salad with real Roquefort dressing. When we created that menu, John Pisto was the first to serve a wedge salad in Monterey County. I mean, it's everywhere now, but back in the mid-90s, it wasn't being served. He saw it in Chicago, and he was going to do it with blue cheese. And I told him, I said, John, my dad loved restaurants, and all the great restaurants always served Roquefort dressing. But it got so expensive, it all became blue cheese. So we made a Roquefort dressing that we still serve.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay. Now, you've been in the restaurant business for a long time. You said you were in real estate for a while. But the first job you ever had, was it in the restaurant business or something else?
My very first job was working at A&W Restaurant on Forest Hill, washing pots and pans. And I was 15 years old. And the two guys that did the cooking were guys who were going to NPC, the college. And so when the boss was away, they'd have me come over and they taught me how to cook. So I'd do the burger, they'd just hang out, watch me cook the burger and stuff while the boss was gone. And I just loved it. It was just a lot of fun. I made $1.75 an hour.
Nice.
And I loved it.
Big money.
And at that time I started caddying at Pebble Beach. And my friend who was also a caddy was bussing. He was a busboy inside the hotel. And as soon as I went there, that was it. That's all I wanted to do.
Nice. So, now that you've been in the business for a while, hospitality business, what's the best part of it that you appreciate the most being in the hospitality business?
I got to say, on a day-to-day basis, it's the great people that I get to work with. Because we get great visitors, lots of locals every day. But it's being around them that's the most special thing for me. Our general manager, Stuart, here at Abalonetti, has been here over 30 years. Before that, he worked across the street, matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You look
He just loves to be behind his bar. It's all about hospitality. And I think every one of our restaurants, we have the best staff experience we've ever had at this point in time.
Very cool.
Train to retain.
Yeah, I worked at a 5-star hotel once, and in my early days, and they taught us 3 steps of service, and you guys do it very well here. The first is a warm welcome, right? The second is comply to the guest's wishes, and the third is to bid a fond farewell. And you do a good job with all that here.
I think that when you talk about restaurants, people like to have connections. And if they feel like connection to a restaurant, whether it be food or the staff or whatever it is, they're going to want to come back and repeat that experience. And so we talk about that a lot, those connections. Really just taking care of people. My old partner, Jim Gilbert, the late Jim Gilbert, used to say, just take care of the place. Just take care of the place. It was kind of a mantra. Just take care of the place and it takes care of you.
That's right.
So at all these restaurants, what do you have time to do with your life?
What better is there to do than this? This is all I ever wanted to do, and I just get my bicycle and I go among the restaurants. We've got a big group at Rockfish tonight. We've got a wedding over at the steakhouse tonight. We've got a wedding reception at the beach house.
So I see you on your bike out here. This is your mode of transportation?
Yeah, I park every morning at Lover's Point, and I get on my bike and I travel around between here and there. It's 10 minutes from here to Beach House.
That's what he does for fun.
And
he drives to his other jobs.
I mean, people dream all the way around the world to be on the waterfront here. And I spend all my time on the waterfront. So, as good as it gets.
Don't take it for granted.
Never.
Kudos.
Never for a single day.
That's fantastic.
I never get up any day and feel like going to work, honestly.
So, in closing, locals, if you're from here, come down and check out the locals menu at all of his establishments. And
the only locals menus that are offered every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the year.
So if you've not been down to the wharf in a while, before it gets super busy, come on down. And even when it's busy, come on down anyway.
That's right.
Ask for the locals menu, and I promise the waiter will not roll his eyes.
Amen. And that's a wrap.
That was fantastic. Thanks for playing. This is going to be fun.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question.
You have notes?
I happen to have notes.
That's not improv when you have notes.
Well, this is my mission statement, so I like to have it handy. Because that's really part of who I am, so I like to actually relate to it constantly. So you asked me, how do you teach improv? And the answer would be, I just try to bring out people, their creative resources. I try to push them physically and emotionally, and then we create fun exercises and scenes on the spot, and it's really fun.
So who shows up for these?
Oh my gosh. People show up for different reasons. Some people show up because they truly want to learn the art form of improv. They want to know the structure of it. Mm-hmm. And other people show up because they want to kind of keep their creative energy alive, because a lot of times when we're kids, we're playful all the time. We get to a certain point, and I think women more so than men stay creative, I think, a little longer because they do sports and they're physical. And women kind of stop in high school time. And I think what happens is they get a little bit more sedentary. So I think women especially take improv because they want to become more physical and they want to use their brains. And
their brains?
Yes.
Wow.
Because,
well, that's the difference between men and women.
Well,
we just don't.
No, we don't use our brains.
I mean, you look at us. It's never too late to have a happy childhood.
Well, yeah.
And you guys, all of a sudden, you guys become mothers, and all of a sudden you become our mothers, and it's distracting to our lives.
But people in general, Steve, forget how to play.
That's right.
They don't use that creative muscle. Yeah. And there are elderly people that like to do improv because it's really fun. Some of the games are really mental agility games, if you think about it. So that's
so as we become more demented as we get older, it just becomes a natural thing. Is that?
I think that there was a study recently about how improv really helps in staving off dementia, Alzheimer's.
So Jay, you've auditioned. You've worked with
And
Maria.
he staved off.
He saved off. I'm not a doctor. I don't play it on TV, and I'm not even gonna touch that one. But yeah.
Oh God.
We all have our stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Is good medicine.
It definitely is. Yeah. I mean, I don't. The thing about some people are just naturally funny, and some people they need to kind of be pushed.
So you said
humor.
physically push. What? You can't just push people these days.
No, you
go
don't
to jail
actually,
for that.
I'm saying that.
Well, maybe not you.
Well, there are a lot of games that are.
Yeah.
I always tell my students that nobody wants to see a talking head on stage. No one wants to see two people doing a scene where they're both just standing there talking. So when I say, push them physically, get them to do something,
Right.
some space work, some
So should we
object
stand
work.
up?
Well,
Move
we
around?
could, but I don't know if we can.
Okay.
But to me, the two keys to improv, to a really good improv scene, and something that, what was his name that was here before, Kevin, he said
Kevin,
connection, how
yeah.
people like connection in his restaurant. Same thing with improv.
Right.
If you can emotionally connect with your partner and physically engage with your environment, you're creating a story for the audience to be engaged in. So that's when I say you're pushing physically, not just being a talking head on stage.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, did you teach in the high school ranks, the college ranks?
I have been teaching since 1997.
God, you guys go way back to the 90s.
I've been teaching elementary school kids. I've taught all ages. I teach adults, and I still teach in the elementary schools.
Right.
And I've done that for years. And I started out, believe it or not really doing improv per se, but there was improv element to it. I did something called playback theater, which is...
Was that here?
I did it locally, and it was in Carmel Valley. And
I'm sorry.
At Cherry Carl Theater, when that theater was still there. But playback theater is really interesting. I think that was a stepping stone for me to do improv, because it's basically having someone, and most times someone elderly, come on stage and tell a story. And the story could be funny, it could be poignant, it could be very sad. And players would now reenact that story.
Right.
And it became very therapeutic for the person telling the story, because they would look at you as a player and say, you look like my brother. I'm going to have you play my brother. Oh, you look like my dad. I'm going to have you play my dad. So we would get on stage and reenact it. And if the story was really painful or sad, like maybe their dog died, we would enact it as truthfully as possible. But then we could turn to that person and say, how would you like to see it the way you really would dream about it? How would you really have wanted it to end? And then we would play back, hence the name, play back that. And we would have people crying on stage, because we could make a lost love come back. We could make a dog come back to life. A mother, you could say your last words to your mother.
So it wasn't just about comedy.
No.
It was about how you wanted
Yes.
it to end. How do you want your story to end?
And I want to
Nice.
stress that improv is also not always about comedy, because we have very poignant scenes, very dramatic scenes, and people think you have to be funny all the time. You just be yourself. You engage in the scene, and you're truthful and honest, and focus on the actual acting, and you'd be surprised. We're all funny. Funny will come out no matter what.
Right.
You don't have to try to be funny. In fact, never try to be funny, because the audience can smell desperation, and it will turn them off. They will hate you if you try to be funny. So never do that.
So is it also about timing?
Timing is, some people have that naturally too. Some people have natural timing on stage. Timing is an element of improv. I don't teach it a lot, because either you do it or you don't, but there are interesting things you can do with timing, especially pauses. There are dramatic pauses.
Let the audience absorb it.
Absolutely.
Do you
Yeah.
have a list of conflicts that you bring up on stage for people to play out?
Oh, that's so interesting that you say conflict, because it's one of the things I try to teach and try to ingrain in players. because a lot of players have come from an old style of learning improv that they think a problem or a conflict is really important to introduce early in the scene. And audiences really don't gravitate toward that. They want scenes to start out kind of positive and then go somewhere, lead to a conflict. And problems in improv are good as long as you can yes and the problem. Here's the problem with that is I can talk.
And
Yes. Let's talk about yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about yes and, okay? When the pandemic hit.
Jay, we're gonna be billed for a psychiatric appointment on this. You know that.
Okay.
Yeah. CSU.
All right. When the pandemic hit, I could no longer teach in person. So I went to teaching what's called Zoom Prov. So I had a group of players and on the computer, and I had to really reevaluate. I totally hit a reset button with improv. And I was kind of inspired by the movie Moneyball, the Brad Pitt movie.
Great movie.
A great movie. And he turned baseball on its ear by challenging the way they valued players in baseball. He looked at the statistics of base hitters.
All
versus,
analytics, right?
Yes,
right.
versus home run hitters. Okay. And I
But
thought,
no, Brad Pitt played a character, though.
Yes, he played a character.
He wasn't really Brad Pitt.
No.
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 He was a character.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay, but it inspired me. And during that
Your whole thing about Brad Pitt?
well,
Get over it.
I love Brad
Your
Pitt.
husband's gonna watch this.
All right. So anyway.
Jay's got his thing about Brad Pitt too, but that's another story.
So I decided during that pandemic, that 2-year, I hit a reset button and I said, I'm going to challenge the status quo of improv. And I said, what is this yes and? And if you really think about yes and, it's more informational.
Right.
If you say something, I go yes and. You say something, I go yes and. It's very boring, okay? However, I thought, students and coaches and directors, they ingrain it in their students. It's almost like we're being brainwashed to say yes and it's been completely misinterpreted. And what you're trying to do is yes and the reality of the scene, but you're not yes-anding every little thing that your partner says. You don't want to take it literally.
So you can say no?
You can say no.
So you can go in another
And that's
direction,
the thing.
rein it back
That's
in.
the thing. No improv coaches want you ever to say no on stage. Now, let me give you an example. If I'm pointing a gun at you, and I'm saying, give me your money, you're not going to go, yes, and I'll be broke. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to say, no, don't kill me. Take my ring. Oh, no. No, I can't get my ring.
Actually, I've been in
know,
that situation,
right? Yeah.
and all I said was, you're really upsetting me. I have other things to do.
Oh, my God. Well,
Not a smart move on my part.
I
lived. Yeah, I lived. Yeah. Yeah. It got weird. Yeah, it got weird. Yeah. It got weird.
All I'm saying is it's okay to say no as long as you're moving the scene forward
Right.
and you're adding new information to it and your scene is truthful and honest and you're focused on the scene and it's real. You're never going to say yes to being shot. That's all I'm saying.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yes. Very
Are we gonna have an intervention here? Is that what this
if I
is?
could turn the mindset of every director and coach, improv coach, and because to tell your students to say yes, and they do it in scenes. You're on stage and they go yes and it was like,
No.
Big question.
Yes.
Are you still doing the Zoom prov?
No, I did it for 2 years, and I went back to in-person teaching, and I teach at the PG Arts Center every Tuesday and Thursday
But
night.
did you get more people from outside of this area with the Zoom prov, or did you only get
Oh yeah, I got
that are
people
only in
from
this
all
area?
over. Yeah,
Cool.
So why
yeah.
wouldn't you continue with the people from all over?
Well, funny. Well, this is what happened. I taught for 2 years, and some of my students got very good at improv, and they have kept it on They still meet for Zumba. I don't run it anymore.
They're
But
doing it
I
on their
kind
own?
of pass the torch.
Oh, how cool.
They continue to do
So
it.
you're doing it for the love, not the Benjamins.
Yes, and that's another thing.
Beautiful.
I am really, to me, it's an art form, and I don't make much money off it, but I love it so much that, to me, if you do something because you love it, and I don't feel like I'm working every day. I feel like I'm going to something that I truly love doing, and it's not a job for
So
me.
comedyvarietysshowcase.com and click the button and send money.
No,
Just
you
have it
don't
appear in my
no,
bank account.
Just come to the show.
Yes. And let's talk about that for a minute. There
Yes.
is going to be a show at the Stanton Theater.
Yes.
The beautiful Stanton Theater here in Monterey.
Yeah.
At Custom House Plaza.
Yes.
Seats 100.
Yes, July 22nd.
You were
at
there
7 p.m.
for an open mic that we helped sponsor.
Yes.
And you fell in love with the place.
Yeah. And
You just keep saying yes, and you
Well,
said don't keep saying yes.
I didn't say yes and.
No.
Okay, but Steve, I have to tell you, I've performed at that theater several times.
Nice.
It used to be the Dolly Theater,
Yes.
and when I was in another improv troupe, and we performed there, so I'm very familiar with that stage.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
gonna be good.
when you do, and again, we're going to pick on Jay because
Okay, pick on
he's
Jay.
here. So Jay recently auditioned.
Yes.
And he's still waiting for the email to show up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it'll go into his spam folder. He'll never see it. So, with the show that you're going to put your showcase,
Yes.
what are you looking for?
Oh, I look for anyone that does anything comedic.
You're in, Jay.
Magic, skits. I write a lot of the skits that go in the show. Skits. What else do we do? Monologues. Anything. We had a dog act. The dog act was really
Wait.
funny.
I thought all girls were pretty in this town.
Wow, you went there.
Ooh, had
Wow.
to. Hey, it's improv, right? Yes, and
anything.
look at that
that's-
guy out there with his girlfriend
Wow.
with the orange vest
playing
on.
to it.
Yeah.
Wow, emotional support.
Ooh.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, anything comedic. I'm always looking for anything new. I really would like to have a musical comedic act. That's one thing I was missing.
We have
in the
Richard
last
Stockton.
show. I've tried to get him in the past.
Well, we get pick on him because he's not here. Richard's a great guy.
Yeah.
We'll get him for you.
So
We got a little
whatever.
dirt on
and
him.
of course we have stand-ups, and we just whatever pops up. I'm doing auditions right now, so for the next month or so, I'll be doing.
Could you
auditions.
Zoom an audition and Laura can pull the screen down and?
Well, usually the auditions that are in person, but I have had people send me little clips,
Right.
video clips, and
Right.
I viewed them that way too.
So when you see the clips, it's polished or is it raw material?
I've gotten so many different quality of clips. Some can't even look at.
Yeah.
Mine was in person. It was raw.
And she had trouble looking at it.
Oh, yes.
Close your eyes, but you can still hear it. Use all your senses. I mean, it's got to be dangerous, and it's hard to get up behind a mic. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, you know what's funny is
I do.
I'm gonna. I used to. My daughter was on a softball team, and I used to be their
Wait,
pitcher.
that's not funny.
Well, we'll get there. And I was the pitcher for their team.
Weren't you a little old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the parents do it.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I'm doing it, and I would just be so extraordinarily nervous pitching for this team. I would be on the mound, and all these parents are watching, and they want you to pitch perfect to their kid. And I'd be on the mound going, oh my God, I have to throw these strike zones. And I'd be so nervous, and I'd be saying to myself, I can't wait to be done with this so I can get on stage and relax, because that's where I feel the most comfortable.
Right.
On stage, I have none of that.
So, do you have a stage in your house?
I do not.
So, when you talk to your husband about going to the grocery store, do you pull out the mic, test, 1, 2, 3?
No.
Honey, here's your list, and here's how we're going to do this.
No, it's not
No.
like that.
Did you pitch until you hit a kid?
No, the kids usually would hit me because I can't aim. I've been hit so many times, but really, it was just terrifying to do that, and it's just
So you are a mom.
Yeah.
Jay's a dad.
Yeah.
I've been rumored to be a dad.
You don't know how many you have.
Well, I know I have at least two.
Okay.
Yeah, two. Yeah. And if you read the June issue, the Chucklehead, I'm not going to give it away, but I did write about my two kids.
Oh, good.
I did, and it's very funny. There are people who've heard the joke in different ways, but for those who haven't, you're just going to have to wait and read it.
Oh.
It'll be in our e-blast, obviously, in the paper and other platforms, and you'll go, haha, glad I'm not this guy. But yes, somebody actually agreed to do that with me. But you have kids.
Yes.
So
Happy belated Mother's Day to you.
Oh,
yes,
thank
happy
you,
belated
thank
Mother's
you,
Day.
thank
And you
you.
too, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So do you, what do your kids do? Are they in entertainment?
My older daughter is a psychology major, so
Figures.
she's taking care of other kids and helping them
That's
with
good.
their problems, because nowadays, there's a lot of issues with anxiety in kids.
There's
and-
always been.
Yeah, but
Might need a team
it's
strength.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
Slow pitch.
my younger daughter attends Cal Poly as an English major, and she drives here every weekend and coaches the boys volleyball team.
She coaches the boys.
Boys.
How do they take it?
Well, that was interesting because they didn't know her, and she's very good.
As a coach?
And as a player and
As
a
a
coach.
player, okay.
And so they kind of gave her the side eye when she showed up, and then when they saw her play, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. There you go.
So now, yeah, and she gained
Yes.
she gained a lot of respect from them, and they're a great bunch of kids, and I'm very proud of her to have a woman coaching boys.
I think it's fabulous.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
Jay's self-employed as an insurance guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm self-employed, but I venture into other things too in my office, and I work with all women.
Yeah.
I work better with women
Yes.
than men for some weird reason.
Yeah.
I know my place. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why. If I knew that when I was married, I probably still wouldn't be married, but I would know my place. So yeah, I think it's wonderful that women are crossing over, and it's just people. We don't look at gender. It's
Yeah.
people. It's a woman who has the skill to do the job.
Yeah.
And these high school kids
Yeah, high school.
are looking at her like, yeah, right. And then they see the level of competency, and all of a sudden there is just this wonderful respect, and they get it.
Yeah.
They listen.
Yeah, and
That's
I've
great.
I've come up against a few walls, being the woman director of Comedy Variety Showcase,
Mm-hmm.
and then the director of the improv troupe, and
Mm-hmm.
so I get a little bit of that side eye from men, but when they see what we do, then they realize, oh, okay, yeah, you pass.
So if we were to sit here today, and I don't want to say if, because we are sitting here today, it's not an illusion, and we look out at the wharf, it's Sunday, it is a beautiful summer day, and we're all dressed like it's like
Winter.
and other,
Yeah.
So if you really want to come to Monterey, this is what you get. And we watch people out there.
Yeah.
And we talked about this on the phone.
Yeah.
About how I come to Ablanetti's on a Sunday and we make fun of people out and think, what are they thinking? What are they doing? And you said you have done the same thing.
Yes, I've done that. Yes, definitely.
So let's play.
Okay.
Let's play.
All right.
Jay?
Yeah.
We're going to play.
What are they thinking?
Well, who are we looking at?
Let's look at these two girls holding hands.
Why'd
Right
you
there.
drag me here?
No, we're not going to do drag here. No.
Look at this guy.
Smile.
Look at this guy.
How about the guy with the cooler?
Oh, the cooler. Oh, dead body
I
parts.
told my dad not to show up. He's just wandering around out there with that cooler. Poor
Where
thing.
can I have my lunch?
Yeah. He's waiting for someone to catch one too many fish.
This guy's wearing a mask with his son. He doesn't want to speak to him.
No. No. He doesn't even want to be around him. Good thing mom's not here. Oh, that's right. They're divorced because of that. Yeah.
Look at this perfect family all holding hands
Oh,
and stuff.
Whoa.
It's a chain gang.
That's so cute.
Great.
That's darling. I don't want to be that.
Oh,
He's the caboose.
you forgot one.
Yeah. But they have many more. It doesn't matter. Now, what's this guy doing with 2 women? What's his story?
I think you know.
Hi. Ooh, I think they heard us. I'm afraid of that one. I'm not afraid of him.
I think he can hear you. Okay, well that's good enough. Oh, we're gonna get in trouble.
No, Kevin's not here. We could do this. What about this gal across the way? I mean, does she do this for a living? Does she actually do that?
Which one are you looking at?
That gal over there. Is that her?
Oh, the one that works.
What does she do when she gets home? She goes, what do I aspire to be? Is this, you know?
Oh.
Oh, phone's in the pocket.
Oh, busted.
Now, is that woman that came out, does she work here or is she a patron?
No, she's working there.
They're both working there.
She's one of the women that try to coax people into coming
She's short.
into the restaurant.
Does that make a difference?
Oh, are you talking
She's a
about
boss.
this? Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
short woman. She's definitely the boss.
She's like, you need to talk to people and get them in here. 'cause
Yeah.
it's slow.
There's 3 people out there. Get at least 1 in here.
Well, not a fun way to have your job.
Hey, she signed up for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It just shows that people will do anything for a living.
Yeah,
I mean, look what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are no barriers out there, are there?
I am living.
I am living. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we have a pulse. You know?
Okay.
Well, this is fabulous. And so you are going to do a show
Yeah.
at the Stanton, and that is going to be July 20...
Second.
What?
22nd.
22. Okay.
22 at 7 p.m.
Look at this guy. What was he doing out there?
Whoa.
Like Aquaman.
He is Aquaman. He has
Is that a good look
underwater
to?
camera.
Is that a good pickup look? Well, I mean, from a woman's perspective, what do you
I
think?
mean,
Would your daughters do that? Would you do that?
God, no.
Oh, no.
No. He's gone.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway.
you have a show.
Yes.
And it's going to be about improv.
It's
And you're
gonna
going to
be
write
a
some of the
co-
skits?
It's going to be a comedy variety showcase,
Right.
and it's going to have skits and monologues and stand up, and it's going to have
And hopefully music.
Improv, hopefully music.
Yes.
We were still working on that, and whatever it turns out to be, it's going to be fabulous.
How many acts did you have last year?
We had at least 10.
Wow.
It was such. We did 2 shows. They were both sold out. We had people waiting in line trying to get in. Some people paid to get a ticket just to stand outside of the theater.
Oh, that's so cute.
They just wanted to hear it, you know, because you can
Yeah.
hear stand up at least.
Yeah.
You can hear some of the things, but I felt bad. You know, I've had people videotape it on there,
Frank.
but it never seems to come across as well. Nothing better than live
Right.
theater. And I've seen videotaped shows. I don't know. There's something just lacking in them. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But
The spontaneity.
maybe
Could that-
maybe there's something not there, and I haven't really been able to, you know, figure it out how to get it across through video.
I have a doctor, a psychiatrist, can work and tell you where that is and what that may be.
Oh.
And obviously, there's a med for it.
Okay. Wow.
No, but good for you.
Thank
and you're
you.
going to continue doing this once a year, twice a year.
Yeah, usually shows are once a year.
We could do it twice a year.
We could.
We can.
We might.
We might.
We might.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a it's a long process trying to get, you know, and writing new material too.
So
I do
what they
that.
audition with isn't what they end up on stage with.
That's not true. I mean, people audition when they do their stand-up. That's their material. The skits are usually mine, and monologues sometimes are split. I write those too. I have what's her name, Sienna, who did a great monologue, and I didn't write that one. She came up with her
And you're
herself.
keeping it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she's keeping it. It's
She's good.
hers,
Now, is
yeah.
she part
Yeah.
of your classes?
No, she's a
showed up?
performer, part of CVS. Comedy Variety Showcase are different performers. The improv part of it is people I pull from classes, and I formed a group so new that we don't even have a name yet.
Oh, let's come up with a name.
I've been trying. I've been getting input from the players, from people I know.
So what are some of the choices?
Oh gosh, I have a list of
Come
about
on,
50.
give us
I don't
three.
have them with
Just-
me. I
well,
can't even tell you.
Just off the top of your head.
Oh gosh,
Just give us
somebody
three.
said improvocative.
Oh, I like that.
That was one of them. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, doesn't work.
I can't remember any of them.
That doesn't work either.
Okay, let's see. The Absurdists. I remember that one. You guys come up with some. Come up with an improv group name.
I like it.
Improv Nation?
I like it.
Oh, I had one. What was it? It was Oh, I came up with the comicals, and somebody said, no, if you use that, someone's going to call you the commies. You can't do it.
Yeah, we can't do that.
I thought that was cute, though, the comicals.
But when you look at Monterey County, you know, you're in PG, and when I go through the tunnel into New Monterey, I expect to see like animated balloon characters like in the Macy's Day Parade. And then when I get to PG, where you are, I find out where they live. You know, I just find that just a weird thing. Once I'm through the tunnel, my body feels different. It just really does. And the only normal place I find in PG is Grove Market. I just go in there and I'm like, oh my God, I feel normal again. Because it's just a strange environment in PG.
Well, have you been to the PG Arts Center?
I have been there, and Kim does a great job. I know it's just PG is just weird to me.
Yeah.
And but you know, on this side of the tunnel, it is different.
Yeah.
And we talk about Monterey County. We talk about the segmentation. You want to draw from all over.
Oh yeah.
Are you drawing from Salinas? Are you drawing from Marina? Are they coming?
I do have players that come from Salinas.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't ask players where they live, but I just know some of them.
Are they afraid that you might like go to their house?
them.
It's 5 o'clock. It's
No.
dinner time. You're hungry.
I do a drop-in class, so they
Ah,
come in,
yeah,
they
drop
come
in for dinner.
They sign their name, they give me their email, but I don't ask them where their house is. So no.
You do it 2 days a week, right?
2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. It's $10, and you have a great time.
And that's the only location that you're currently doing it, right?
Yeah.
Would you do another location?
I've been asked to do another location, but keep in mind I still have a day job where I teach kids
Right.
in elementary school. So I'm at Robert Down. I also teach for the city of Monterey. And so my plate's full, and now I've got auditions going on and, the show.
There's a lot of things
There's a lot
happening.
going on. But, yeah, I'm always open to teaching.
That's fantastic.
On that note, so second is a comedy again.
Yes.
And I've known some people in the comedy world in the past. And then so right now, looking to put together this Central Coast Comedy Clinic group. So I already put the page together on that thing. But we want to meet like twice a month. Once in Monterey and once in Salinas.
Oh, nice.
Just to get a group of people together to, bring their jokes and kind of polish them within a group of people that are witty,
It's like a round table?
Yeah, I'm going to name it right now.
It's like a
I'm going to give it a name now.
collaboration.
Ready?
Give it a name.
What is it?
The Witaholics. The Witaholics.
Workaholics. Okay.
These are so witty. Yes.
Wit is important.
Okay. But no, so that way, and then eventually we just create a culture of comedy people, comedy minded people here in the area. There are already, I went to 2 comedy shows last night in Salinas.
Oh, nice.
There were 3 comedy shows in Salinas last night.
Wow.
I was amazed. I couldn't go to all of them, though, but it was good.
Good. Oh.
Hey, no, that's amazing.
That's
I didn't know
amazing.
that.
That's amazing, right?
And that's
why
Frank.
they all
He's
bunched up in
amazing.
one night. Frank and Vision in the house. Thank you very much, Frank, for all your support.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank.
But when you think about it, though, I feel that Salinas is the market.
Wow.
You have 150,000 people there.
Yeah.
And you have people coming out of the woodwork to want to play. You got a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
I believe most of the people there have a pulse. You live there, right? Yeah. You have a pulse. Yeah, that counts. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it matters.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're not going to go back and pick on PG anymore.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
going. We're done picking
We've
on
already
PG.
done that.
Shall we go into
Done
Carmel
that.
in the Valley? we can do that too. But I believe that's why I asked. The market, I think, is Salinas for just the sheer number of people.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'll keep in contact with
keep in contact
Yes.
with me.
So what are you going to do differently than what she does?
There's a master plan.
Works on the improv, right?
Yeah.
Well, I do everything.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
I do stand up. I do
Yeah.
skits. I do monologues. I do blah 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 blah.
Alright.
Yeah,
But we'll
Yeah.
have to connect some more.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, maybe we need to keep her out of Salinas, Jay.
You gotta get her to come out to see you.
Yeah.
Bring her to Salinas.
Oh, I like that too. Does she have the right paperwork?
Is your car big enough to put her in the back seat?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll go in
We
the
could do-
trunk. Put me
Somewhere
in the
around
trunk.
Toro Park, they might stop us and
I'll stick my hand
Yeah.
out.
yeah, you need papers.
Very good. Well, hey, thanks for coming on our
You're
show.
welcome.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with everything. and
Thank
hope
you,
to see you
Jay.
in your
Thank you,
classes.
Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Very
Good.
good.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was fun.
Thank you.